Ask the Messenger's TV show is a TV show that educates, informs, and entertains our viewers on public health issues such as mental illness, suicide, addiction, illness and disease, COVID-19 relief, crime, domestic violence, homelessness, human trafficking, employment opportunities, healthcare, and more. And now, Ask the Messengers.
Today on Ask the Messengers, we bring you some resources and real-life experiences in an effort to help anyone who is living with autism to know that there is help. On this episode, Claudreen Jackson is back with us to share more about her experience with raising an autistic son, also to share information about her organization, the Pervis Jackson Jr. Foundation, and how they are available to help those families living with disabilities. She is the widow of the late Pervis Jackson of the iconic singing group The Spinners. Plus, Rachel Barnhart is the Autism Program Administrator through DWIHN Integrated Health Network, also known as DWIHN. And she is here to share information about their program resources for families living with autism. And sharing his living with autism experience, Kurt Thompson is the parent of 3 autistic children. Ask the Messengers begins now. This is Tina Nelson for Ask the Messengers, and we are here to talk again more about autism, what it is, getting a better understanding. A few months ago, we brought you autism awareness, just so that you can be aware of how families and how it affects the families and how it affects society in general. So a few months ago, we had Claudreen Jackson, who is the widow of the great Spinners, Pervis Jackson Jr. She shared her story about her son, but here today, she's more importantly going to talk about the foundation that her and her late husband founded out of a necessity for a child that they have who is still living, and they discovered that he was autistic. And out of a need during the time that they were young parents, they created this foundation. Yes. And I'm so happy to have you back. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
And thank you so much for giving attention to autism,
yes,
which I'd never heard of until my son was born in '75 with autism. But we started the Pervis Jackson Jr. Autism Foundation. Our website is pjjraf.com. Pervis Jackson Jr. Autism Foundation. And that's how parents can contact us for help. Because I'm the parent of a child with a serious handicap, we don't make these parents have to prove a lot. Mm-hmm. All they have to do is be the parent of a child with a handicap and send us their information. Because if you have a child with a handicap, you need help.
Right.
Whether you have money or not. But people with money don't need the Pervis Foundation. Right. So we're for the lower income.
So let's go back a little bit. Now, when Pervis Jr., at what point did you discover or find out? Because nowadays we've had professionals on the show, and they say by 3 you kind of know.
It surfaces before 3.
Okay.
Pervis Jr. was born July 1975. In July 1976, he had his DPT vaccine, and things changed immediately. Now, I know that there's been a conversation about the vaccine. I'm sure that that's what caused my son's autism, and I have talked to other parents. But you still have to have the vaccine. I'm not an advocate of discontinuing the vaccine, because then you'd have an even bigger problem.
Right.
But in 1976, he had the vaccine. They said he'll be sick for a couple days while the vaccine takes hold, and then he'll be all right. He never got all right. He was sick for a couple days. I felt like I was living in the Twilight Zone, because I had never seen people like my son, who was destroying what he didn't like and tearing things up, because they were institutionalized. He was born in 1975, and that was the year they quit putting people with autism in institutions.
Wow.
So they were released into the community, but there was not a lot of community support.
Okay.
So you probably know some people with younger children with autism. They may have more supports now than we had back then.
Right.
Yes.
So now you're the widow of this famous, world-renowned, of just total fame and the fortune. Now, it wasn't always fame and fortune in the beginning.
It wasn't always in the beginning. When I met him, he was spending his days at Motown.
Okay.
The spinners were rehearsing, but I was the one that was bringing in money.
Right.
But, so I thought, he's there all day and he's not getting paid. And he always said, well, one day I'm going to have hit records, and one day you're going to be able to travel, and one day you're going to be able to quit your job. And in my head,
Black
I thought,
woman, right. Black woman,
you dreaming. You can stay there and dream while I get out and
somebody got to make the
But I never said that to him.
Good,
because I don't believe that you destroy people's dreams.
Right.
So that was his dream, and I was supporting him in his dream. But I thought one day he's going to say, I don't want to do this anymore because I need a job making money. And one of the spinners, Bobby Smith, had actually started working for one of the automobile plants.
Wow. When
they got their first hit record.
Wow.
So he had to make a decision whether to stay at the plant or to tour. Yes. Yeah. And it was a hard decision for him. And I remember Bobby and Pervis discussing it. And Bobby was afraid to quit the job, but Tom Bell, I know you heard the name Tom Bell, who was writing for them, said, oh, you go ahead and quit that job because we got more hits coming.
Wow.
But we weren't sure. Wow. But he was right.
Wow.
He was right.
That's awesome. And it's just an honor to just be in the home and looking at the gold records. This is so amazing just to witness and see this myself. But the foundation, now you guys had to do it, and what was the purpose and why did you start it? Is it because there was no outlets for Black people? Or
I originally started it, well, we're not limited to Black people, have more white people. We're not limited to Black people, or we're not limited to people with autism.
Okay.
Anyone who has a special needs child whose disability is on the severe range. Okay. Because my son's disability is severe. Pervis Jr., July 1st, he will be 48 years old. He still cannot read or write or talk or live independently. And I thought that if I could not get him cured, we wouldn't make it. But here we are. I'm in my 80s. He's approaching 50. We're still smiling.
Wow.
But it's been a long journey, but I have learned, thank you for this show, because I've learned from information that people put out. I have learned from other parents. I have learned from educators. Doctors were telling me, you see what he's doing? That's what he's always going to be doing. And he was jumping and flapping, and doctors were saying, he's always going to be like that. The teachers were saying, that individualized educational program, they were saying, well, we can change some of these behaviors. And I'm thinking, no, they can't, because the doctors already told me.
Right.
But the special ed teachers worked with him, and they taught me.
Okay.
They taught me techniques for dealing with him. Not intentionally, but just by me watching them. So much so that I ended up going back to college getting my special ed degree.
Oh, wow.
So I was a special education teacher. My students had learning disabilities.
Wow. So I want you to do me a favor. I want you to look right into that camera. And I would love for you to give some words of encouragement for the families who are experiencing what you've already gone through. Speak to those parents right now.
You know, you may feel incompetent. You may feel overwhelmed. I've been through it. I was incompetent. I wasn't just feeling incompetent. But when you focus on your child and what you want that's best for them, it kind of helps you quit feeling sorry for yourself and quit feeling sorry for your situation. So I have grown because of my son. You know, Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, who wrote The Power of Positive Thinking, said, if you can't change the situation can change you. So I have lived that. the situation changed me into someone who's speaking to someone like like Miss Tina here, which never was my plan. But my son cannot talk. So talking is easy for me, so I have to speak for him. So continue to do what you're doing, even if you're not doing it right. Just the fact, because I've had my times of that too. But the Pervis Jackson Foundation, we are here to help. If you have a special needs child, doesn't have to be autism, whatever the disability is, you can find us at our website, pjjraf.com. That stands for Pervis Jackson Jr. Autism Foundation. That was my husband's idea. He did not live to see the final, see it actually form. But don't give up, and don't be hard on yourself. If you're not doing the right thing, if your child is eating potato chips for breakfast, that was one of the things that one of the professionals told me when my son was smaller. You've got to feed him a balanced meal. You've got to feed him vegetables. He wasn't eating what I was trying to feed him. So I started letting him eat what he liked. So if you're not doing everything the way you think is right, that's okay. You just continue, and you will grow as your child grows.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for the wealth of information. And on behalf of everyone at Ask the Messengers, we want to thank you for what you do on a daily basis. And we appreciate you helping and meeting the needs of other families. And we also want to thank you for supporting the Ask the Messengers the way that you have too. We were really pleased with your donation. Well, and we love you here. And anything that we can do to help, keep the message out there, because a lot of times people think that they have to go to the big corporations to get help. Right. So it's so important that underground, unknown, smallers, because you can get to you. The people that fall through the cracks. The people that fall through the cracks. Right. That's who we're there to help. And I'm so proud of you, because I was raised up in the 40s when Black women were taught to be in the kitchen with an apron on, cooking and changing diapers. Yeah. So I'm proud of, as a retired educator, of someone who's out showing what Black women can do. I appreciate that. Well, we appreciate you too.
Ask the Messengers will be right back.
All right. This is Tina Nelson for Ask the Messengers, and today I have the pleasure of talking with Rachel Barnhart, who is the Autism Program Administrator for DWIHN, better known as DWIHN Integrated Health Network. And she facilitates the autism program. So first, I'd like to welcome you to the show, Miss Rachel.
Thank you.
Awesome. Now, can you tell me who you are and what it is that you do for the program?
My name's Rachel Barnhart. I am a licensed behavior analyst, and I've been in the field for 20 plus years doing applied behavior analysis, and now I am the Autism Administrator for the benefit at DWIHN Integrated Health Network.
Awesome. So let's talk about the services. So what are the specific services that are provided through DWIHN for autism people or families?
Yeah, DWIHN contracts with 3 diagnostic evaluator agencies to determine if someone is eligible for the autism benefit. Additionally, we contract with 16 ABA providers in Wayne County to provide applied behavior analysis services for those that are diagnosed with autism. Applied behavior analysis, also known as ABA, entails working directly with the children anywhere from 5 hours to up to 40 hours of direct therapy each week. Therapy also includes parent education and support, as well as social skill groups and for those qualified individuals.
Okay. So are there specific resources that are provided? Is it based on need? So how are the resources dispersed, so to speak?
Yeah, so DWIHN provides multiple resources. We have links within our website, which is www.dwihn.org. The links will connect families with local supports, as well as several no-cost autism support training modules. Additionally, there's links to connect with local autism support groups across Michigan, Autism Alliance, just to name a few, Autism Speaks, and Color of Autism.
Okay. So how do you determine who's qualified to receive the services?
It's really simple. All somebody really needs to do is to contact our helpline, which is 1-800-241-4949. There's no wrong door to accessing services for the autism benefit. Anyone can call a family member, a guardian, a medical provider, a mental health therapist, even early on, and educators. They can reach out to initiate those services to get started.
Okay. So that was the next question. How does someone get connected to you? So if there's someone who feels there's a need, so they basically call the 800 number. That's the general Wayne Integrated Health number, but you just be specific for Autism Program, correct?
Yep. Make sure to say I'm looking for more information for autism, or that I'm concerned that my child may have autism, or potentially you may be already have your child diagnosed and you're looking for more direct services. Any of those statements will direct you to a specific clinician that will be able to assist you. In the event that there is any confusion or questions, then you'll be elevated eventually to me, and then I'll work closely with you to go through the process and help you get connected.
So your program, is it for all ages? Because a lot of times when we do these programs, there always tends to be emphasis on children. Mm-hmm. So what resources are available for the adult population of autism?
So there are resources. Usually you connect. Now the benefit goes all the way up to 21 years of age.
Okay.
So each one of the ABA providers has a range of different strengths and services.
Okay.
And your clinically responsible support provider in our system, the one who works with you to connect those services, will help connect those vocational, there are assessments that they complete, but those vocational activities and those more adult services. Okay. So you can get a range of different options. There's quite a few. Okay. So basically, if someone is in the system and they have a child and they're in the system, once they get to that 21 cap age or around the time, then they start trying to find other resources for after the age of 21 then, right? Right. And generally that actually begins around age 17, depending on the child's need or the youth's needs at that point. Okay. We begin to talk about that early as possible, because each person is so unique. They are so unique. And we really need to look at the variety of options we have and their strengths and areas that they may need more support in. So there are several different levels of support in our system for that. Well, I'm so glad that you share that information, because we do get those questions that's, what resources are available for the adult population. So it's good to know. So basically, you guys have programs, you have resources to help. Ms. Rachel, can you share that helpline again for us, please, for our viewers? Definitely. The DWIHN Access Helpline is 1-800-241-4949. All right. Thank you so much for all that you do. And thank you again to DWIHN and all of their partners for offering and providing a wide range of programs and resources for communities that you all serve. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for explaining that as well. Okay. Thank you.
Stay tuned for more of Ask the Messengers.
My name is Kurt Thompson. I am a father to 3 children, and all 3 of my kids are on the autism spectrum.
You have your hands full over there for sure.
Yes, Verde, my wife, and I, we certainly do have our hands full.
Now, just briefly, are your children, are they verbal or nonverbal?
I mean, they're all verbal to a certain extent.
Okay.
It's just the amount of verbal communication that they're currently at. Gotcha. My oldest is able to communicate in short phrases, and concrete ideas she fully understands. anything that may be abstract of a concept is a very hard thing for her to grasp.
Okay.
My middle child, his name is Zachary, he's 6. He actually is probably the most verbal of all the children. He actually can have a what we call loop conversation, back and forth, back and forth. And he is actually really close with his abilities to communicate with a neurotypical kid. The main thing that he may struggle with communication is just maybe the social cues.
Okay.
And then my youngest, Zinnia, she's 5. She was probably about the same progression as my oldest, Zoe. And she's very limited with her verbal communication. And she will utter just one word for certain things.
What are some of the fun things that you've been able to develop with your family? Because one thing we don't want people to think that, we got to be real careful. I'm trying to be real careful how we present these autism resources and these autistic stories. I don't want people to just think that every autistic person is this. What are some of the joys? What are some of the joys, some of the happy moments, the happy mediums that you guys can come about as well?
Well, I guess the thing that's really nice, and I can't speak for everyone, of course, only
Correct.
for my 3 kids, and each kid is different.
Right.
Is like, I guess in regards to like with my son, my middle child, he will be blunt and honest. Sometimes, won't have the social cues to know. It's just like, well, maybe we shouldn't have say it in that way, but those types of things. Just like my oldest, she just finds the joys in just some of the simplest things that you wish that a lot of kids had. Like, she loves playing with water balloons and stuff.
Okay.
Nowadays, as a teacher, I see it's just like even simple things like, oh, that's boring, and then get on their phone and So I guess it's just with my kids, I guess it's just like they help me show the simple things that that I need to appreciate within even myself.
Okay.
Of just like being honest and not dancing around the point, or just enjoying just the simple things.
Well, that concludes this week's episode of Ask the Messengers. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you would like to help support our show, please feel free to make a donation of any kind by visiting our show website, www.askthemessengers.org. If you prefer to mail donations, please make check or money order payable to Ask the Messengers TV show and send it to 18400 Schaefer Highway, Detroit, Michigan 48235. Ask the Messengers is the program that deals with things that help you. Thank you for watching.